I've known for about 2 years now that one day I would eventually be making this video. Well, the subject, that is, not necessarily the actual direction of said video. When all the negative reviews for Yooka-Laylee came out a few weeks ago, I knew exactly the direction I'd need to take this video. That is, until I saw plenty of other people who love the game had already taken care of that in the coming weeks post-release. Here I was, thinking I was going to dissect all the reviews I saw and contradict nearly every criticism I heard about the game and concisely explain why I so strongly disagreed with them. But you know, fuck all that. There's a bunch of other people who've made videos doing just that, so instead, I'm gonna just sit here and talk a little bit about one of my now favorite games of all time. For those unaware, Yooka-Laylee is a game that was crowdfunded about 2 years ago. The product of a number of Rareware veterans responsible for many 3D platformers of the Nintendo 64 era, such as Banjo-Kazooie, its sequel Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64, and Conker's Bad Fur Day. The pitch for the game was simple. Hey, we always wanted to make a third Banjo game, and Microsoft won't let us. We still want to. We don't own Banjo, so we want to make a direct sequel to Banjo under the guise of a brand new IP. You down? And we were down. And by we, I mean the super fucking hardcore Banjo fans who managed to raise about $2.7 million. And I think that's a very important piece of information. Because as far as I'm aware, everyone who knew exactly what they were getting with this game ended up getting what they wanted. We wanted another Banjo sequel, and we got it. What I tended to notice was that most of those who ended up disliking Yooka-Laylee ended up criticizing it for all the reasons that I and many others wanted the game in the first place. The fact of the matter is, this game is not a Banjo ripoff, nor an act of self-plagiarism, nor a shameless cash-in. This is a passion project by a bunch of devs who, unfortunately, no longer own the franchise they created. For all intents and purposes, this is Banjo now, and this is why I think a lot of people just don't understand what this game was trying to do. I've seen a lot of people try to compare Yooka-Laylee to Shovel Knight in terms of making a game in the vein of retro games, but I think it's unfair to compare the two, because Shovel Knight is in fact its own thing. Sure, it's inspired by countless platforms of the NES era, but it wasn't a spiritual successor to anything. Yooka-Laylee, on the other hand, is literally trying to fill a void that was left in a lot of gamers for the past 17 years. And in my opinion, the torch was passed and Yooka-Laylee took it with flying colors. Look, I'm gonna be totally honest, I fucking hate Banjo-Tooie. Even right now, as we speak, I decided to play through it again and beat it 100%, and my god, is it a struggle. The game is an absolute mess. Now, I know a lot of people love that game and have a lot of nostalgia for it, but when comparing it to a game like its predecessor, Tooie is definitely convoluted as all fuck and lacking a lot of the direction Banjo-Kazooie had. And because of that, and many other reasons, it's ultimately less memorable in comparison. Now, I love Banjo-Kazooie. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and yes, even as an adult, the game has not aged for me in the slightest, and seeing as how I never really liked Tooie, I've been even more starved than the average Banjo fan for a new game. My biggest fear going into all this was that Yooka-Laylee would take too much inspiration from Tooie, and pre-release I had a lot of friends telling me how it was more like Tooie than Kazooie, but in my opinion, they couldn't have been more wrong. Yooka takes way more inspiration from Kazooie in terms of not only direction, but charm, and it seems as though all the parts it took from Tooie happen to be the good ones. For example, a lot of reviewers complained about the scale of Yooka's worlds and how their level designs weren't intuitive and were hard to navigate. I'm sorry, but that is just a load of bullshit. I promise you, anyone who says Yooka's levels are hard to navigate has never in their life played Banjo-Tooie. Either that or they do not remember playing it. You think the Ice World in Yooka is confusing? Go play Tooie and then let me know how your quality of life is once you hit Grunty Industries. In my opinion, Yooka-Laylee took the best parts of both games and married them beautifully. I just 100%ed Yooka-Laylee and I already want to play it again. And that pretty much never happens to me. This game left me 100% completely satisfied, and as optimistic as I was for it, I did not expect that at all. As I've said countless times, I do not consider myself a reviewer. I'm just a guy who has, like, stuff to say and jokes to crack, so I never wanted to do a proper review of this game. What I will say is that I'm very critical about the games I play because I don't want to waste my fucking time. So I'll be damned if the games I do actually invest my time in are bad. Banjo-Tooie is the only exception. I feel like I need to 100% that game for science. Yooka-Laylee did exactly what it was supposed to do, and I swear to God, if I don't see a Tooka-Laylee because of all the bad reviews, I'm splitting skulls. Because it's not the review scores that actually bother me, but it's the negative consequences that come with those bad scores. Look, I'm not gonna tell everyone to go buy this game because clearly enough people are too detached from this type of game to enjoy it. But I promise you, if you personally are a Banjo fan or just a fan of the collectathon platformers that have long since gone extinct, Yooka will scratch that itch and and then some. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason that so many people wanted this game. A lot of its criticisms have had to do with it not evolving or innovating the genre, and although I personally disagree with that assessment, that's not what we asked for anyway. Like, imagine if somehow the Beatles got back together. No one would want them to make some modern rock sound and shit. They'd want the Beatles to sound like the fucking Beatles. We didn't want an evolution of a genre. We just wanted the band back together. And we wanted banjo-tooie, not fucking nuts and bolts. Oh, and by the way, the camera's fine. Get good. Thanks for watching, guys. This game is seriously in like my top 10 favorite games of all time now. I love it that much. Oh, and if you want a proper review, go check out Gerard's completionist review over at TOVG. Tell him I sent you. Also tell him I'm bitter that he beat the game faster than I did.